Before that, there was no guard, one guard, two guard, three guard. So it's
Did
not
you
like
have
I
that
had.
same problem where it just fell off your head and onto your back?
No, no, it fell on my chin.
Oh, it fell onto your chin,
Yeah,
huh?
I've only had a beard. I've only had a beard for like 13 years, 12 or 13 years. So
Wow.
it migrated
So
south.
you weren't one of those guys that like I had to like I was shaving in high school. I could grow a full beard in high school. I mean, go
No,
figure, right?
I was in my mid 30s before I could actually grow a beard. Like that's how. I mean, hair is not my strong suit, guys. I'm sorry. It's just I don't know.
Good for you.
Yeah, good for me. Well, happy Sunday.
Yeah. Happy Sunday, guys. Anybody do any riding today?
I did. I did. I did one of those I mean it sounds like really awful to say, but I did one of those like content creation days where all I did was drive around and find cool places to take pictures today. Like that's all I did today. I just rode around town and I really hadn't done that like all season, and because I can't ride deep into the winter like you all can, I've got probably I mean, really on the outside, I probably have maybe 5 weeks left before I have to put my bike away for the winter time. So, I try to I figure if I do that two more times before the end of the year, I'll have enough, content that I can ration through the winter.
Okay, that's smart. Yeah, I did some content creation last night. I did a photo shoot by myself, kind of in my alley, and tried to make it look like it wasn't just in my alley. Yeah, it'd been a while since I'd done like a shoot with myself. Like I literally got ready, like put makeup on at 5 or 6 at night just to go hit like the golden hour real quick, and then
Yeah.
you know,
Yeah. I mean, it's part of what you do if you want to try to get
necessary evil. I
yeah.
swear.
Exactly, right. If you want to try to get the good pictures and get the stuff that you need. And I usually I was getting all mine off my bike trips, and I started a new job this year, and it has taken up all of my time. And I'm traveling a lot a lot with my new job. So it's like I come back from traveling during the week, and the kind of the last thing I want to do is get on my motorcycle and travel again. You know what I mean? Like I'm like, geez, I've slept in a hotel bed. Like I'll sleep in my own bed in the next 2 weeks for like 4 days out of the next 14. So, I'm not trying to like travel on the weekend if I'm gone all week too. So
Yeah.
I had grand plans to ride and do some content stuff today, and I laid down on the couch, and my fat ass didn't move the rest of the day. It was great. It was fantastic. So
You need that
I'm
sometimes.
yeah, I'm riding to Knoxville and Maryville on Friday, and going down catching the last couple of days of Smoky Mountain Bike Week. So
you
I'll
you
get my fill in.
you obviously did not have enough time to get up and put your base on before you got in front of the camera today either, Luke, because
Yeah, am I a little shiny?
you're looking very white right now.
Well, man, my top of my head is bright red from being in the sun all day yesterday. Thank God I've got a hat on. Y'all would probably be blinded at this point.
Nice.
That's what happens when you're at soccer fields all day in the bright sun.
So
Well,
you got to ride all day today, Alicia?
I did, kind of like on a whim. I actually went through a couple of my bikes today and had some issues, and now there's 2 bikes less in my garage than I started with. Yeah, it
Had to
started out.
bring him into the shop and get stuff worked on.
I was riding the Dyna today with some buddies who were like, "Oh yeah, we're riding Dynas today." I was like, "Sounds great. I need to like blow through the rest of this tank of gas in my Dyna. I haven't ridden it in a while. Like, let me, knock the dust off the Dyna." So I was initially riding the Dyna, and then someone came through with the trailer and was able to pick up my FXR and bring it to my buddy's house because I'm getting the FXR running. And then they were like, "Come with us," and I was like, "Just take the bike. I'm gonna hang back. I got this thing to do this evening." They're like, "No, come with us. You got plenty of time." And I was like, "All right." They're like, "Bring your Road King, though." I was like, "Yeah, sure. Smoother ride. We'll bring the Road King." And I was like, "I need a brake bleed anyway." So like, "We'll bleed your brakes." So I was like, "Win-win. Let's go." So I get the Road King out there. And like I was like, I have zero rear brake, and then come to find out, I guess my rear tire was rubbing up against my brake line, and just kind of rubbed right through it, and I got brake fluid all over my rear tire. So then I had to leave the Road King there and get a ride home. The joys of owning bikes.
Right. Right.
Seriously. Oh man,
Yeah.
what's a disaster?
Because the lay person would say, well, why can't you ride your motorcycle with brake fluid all over the back tire? That'll just wear off, right? That the lay person would say that.
I
The
mean,
person who has never been on a motorcycle would say that.
yeah, I was like, I'm a little too far from home. I've seen the way you guys want to ride. I don't want to ride like that without rear brakes and also with having a slippery rear tire.
Right.
So,
Right.
yeah, it was a hot day. Yeah.
Yeah. I had one of those in South Dakota one time, and my buddy just like he had some trouble with his front brakes, and he finally just got sick of it, disconnected it, like pulled the brake line up and zip tied it. And he goes, I'm just going with back brakes anyway. I'm like, well, we're in South Dakota. You probably really only need your back brakes, so you'll be fine. We'll just do that.
It's funny.
It gets sketchy. Like, yeah. I mean, I'm used to like my rear brakes kind of like at the end of a season, I typically need a brake bleed because of like the setup that I run, and it's kind of like notorious for happening, and it's happened to me before. So I was like, I know how to engine brake and whatever. So it didn't really bother me that much. But when I actually saw like all the brake fluid all over my rear tire, I was like, well, that's fantastic.
That's not supposed to be there. What the hell? Yeah.
Yeah.
What year is your FXR?
It's a 92.
Okay. All you cool kids have those 90s FXRs.
I used to have an 87, but I let that one get away.
What yours is? Oh no, Luke, yours is a 2000 something,
Mine's
right?
2000.
Yeah,
It's just a 2000. Yeah, last year.
2000, the last year. Okay.
Yeah.
Mine's when you said you have to get yours running, that's where I'm at with mine. So I have to get mine running. That's my other content that I'll be using for the winter, since I won't be riding. I'm gonna take mine, like, do as much as I can and get it running. I think I probably have to rebuild the carburetor. I know that there's some things, like, I want to get it running and ride it because I haven't ridden it since I bought it. So other than around the block, and then I brought it to my garage and washed it off, and I was like, okay. And then I threw a tarp on it, and I was like, I'm good. I have this now. So, and now I've had it for 2 years, and I'm like, okay, I need to like do something for real with it and not just let it sit underneath the tarp and know that it's there. So.
Right. I'm in exactly the same boat because I've owned mine for 2 years now. I've actually never ridden mine, never even heard it run. I bought it like bone dry. The previous owner like drained all the fluids because they weren't riding it. And I just want to hear it run. I would like to ride it, but I don't know. And everyone's like, what are you going to do for your build on it? And I'm like, first thing first, I need to get it running, which means like tires, battery,
Yep.
car rebuild. I need bushings for the bars. I need a stator. Like, I don't know how much that's going to be, so I can't even like start thinking about like what am I going to do to change it. I just want to get it like mechanically sound first
Yep.
and ride it.
Yep. That's
Yeah.
that sounds like exactly about the list that I have to do to mine before I even do it. Yeah, pretty much exactly. I don't know about the stator, but I know I need bushings for my bars. Well, I know the suspension is super spongy, but I can ride it like that. But I do need tires. The tires are probably 10 years old on my bike. So I have an 85 FXRT.
Wow.
And I know that I got it. It was in a storage container when I got it, so I don't think it had been. I don't think it had moved for probably 4 years. And the guy that I bought it from, he put a new battery in it and then started it. And he was like, he called me. He's like, I don't know if you want it. He goes, it's in my garage. It's puking oil. And I was like, oh, how long has it been since you started? He goes, I don't know, like 4 years. I'm like, it's an 85, 80-inch Evo. If you don't ride it, and run it, it's going to puke oil. So I'm like, it's okay. It's normal. It's fine. Don't worry about it. So he was kind of worried about it, but I bought it. I put it on a trailer. I brought it home. I got it off the trailer. I rode it around the block enough for like my friend and take a video and my wife to take some pictures. And I put it in my garage, and I haven't started it since then.
But you own it.
Yeah.
Yeah. That's a big deal.
Yeah.
It's a pretty bike too. I'm excited for you to get it running.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be a lot of fun. I think I wanna. I was telling Luke, I think I just want to get it like rideable so that so that I can actually say that I'm riding it regularly before I kind of decide what I really want to do with it. I mean, in my brain, I think I want to resto mod it. You know what I mean? So I want it to look like an old bike, but have some more modern stuff. I don't think I want to like FXR resto mod it, or M8 resto mod it, but I wouldn't mind putting a bigger motor in it and a different transmission and that kind of stuff. But that's $28,000 down the road.
No big deal.
Right.
It's just money. Yeah, just money.
Yeah. I'll print more, no problem.
Right.
That's absolutely, yeah.
Yeah, I'm just gonna go on that tree in my backyard, just take a few hundreds right off there.
Well, hey, today we've got Alicia Noori from Peripheral Apparel that is joining us. Also, lucky enough to call her a friend. She's located here in St. Louis as well. And we really appreciate you coming on episode. What number
15.
is this? 15. Yeah. So thanks for joining us. Why don't you, Alicia, tell us a little bit about yourself, and we'll go from there.
Welcome to MotoState Podcast, where we talk about motorcycles, life, and everything in between.
Thanks for having me, you guys. It's an honor to be here. I appreciate you asking me to come on. I've been riding Harleys for about 10 years now. I started on a Sportster Iron 883. I currently ride a Road King. Got a few other in the stable. I started a clothing line. Currently working for a motorcycle parts distributor. I spent a few years working at Harley dealerships selling bikes, and then did the rally circuit for about 2.5 years, and needed something a little bit more stable and home based, better work-life balance for my 4-year-old. So yeah, now I'm doing that, and I still do 2 rallies a year. They allow me to do 2 rallies a year. So that, juggling the clothing line, being a single mom, and trying to get content on my free weekends and get a ride in here and there. But yeah, just living life in the industry.
What rallies are you doing now?
So Sturgis and Daytona Bike Week.
And Daytona, okay. Because I was going to ask you about that, how Sturgis turned out for you this year, because I saw they broke a whole bunch of records. So how was your Sturgis? Mine
was chaotic and compressed into, so obviously because I have a full-time job to go back home to, and like I'm very grateful that they gave me the time off. I think they gave me about 12 days off in total. But mind you, I drove up there, I trailered my bike, so I needed 2 days to get there, 2 days to get back. So I was only at work for like 9 days, and then I took a day off to spend the day with my kid, who also came with me up there. So it was like, hurry up. But like I got off work, and then like by 4 a.m. the next morning I was on the road. It was just like, hurry up and get there, hurry up and sell, hurry up and get back and get straight back to work. So it was stressful. I did okay. I sold some high dollar bikes, but I didn't hit as many bike sales that I wanted to. But it all comes out in the wash. It was just, I had a lot going on. Me personally, it wasn't like, okay, I'm just here to focus on the rally. I had a lot of other things, and my kids started preschool like the day I got back. So it was chaotic. I had a great time. We did break a lot of records. We sold a lot of bikes. The inventory turn, it felt like we were selling 100 bikes a day on the floor. So that was nuts to see, especially like consistently. It wasn't like, oh, one day we hit, this many bikes. No, it was like every day, 70, 80, 90, So it was a great year to be in Sturgis. And I actually took a little bit of time off and did a Kraus event, which they asked me to come to. And I was kind of shocked that they asked me to, because don't tell them, but I don't run a single Kraus part on my bike. I was like, if you want me to show up, I will. I mean, I'll bring my bike, but I guess I was like, maybe this guy hasn't seen my bike. I mean, I didn't want to tell him, but I mean, I support the brand. They have very high quality products. I see their, bars and risers on a ton of bikes, even on the dealership floor, brand new bikes. I just don't have any of their parts. Not to say that I wouldn't ever. I was shocked that they asked me to come and be a part of their event. I guess it was just more of like a meet and greet influencer type thing, but
Sure.
it was
That's
cool.
okay too. I mean, I
Yeah.
think there's nothing wrong with that. I'm kind of happy to see that the industry is leaning into influencers a little bit more. I know that there's some people who feel like that's a bad word, or they want to kind of steer clear of it or whatever. And I think it's okay, right? I think probably 20 years ago it was called marketing, right? And now and now, because it's individual people doing it, you're an influencer. And we get influenced all the time by all kinds of things. I mean, what do we think a commercial is, right?
Right.
It's a company influencing us to buy their product. It's just now it feels like it's a little bit more organic, because it's somebody that you might know, or somebody that you might have met before or have contact with, and to me it makes it more personal. And so I like the idea, and I'm glad the industry is leaning into it. I'm glad that they're finally, you're finally seeing Harley lean into it and things like that. I know that there's some like small, or shops and stuff that are really kind of upset about it. They're like, hey, we've been doing this and supporting the industry for 40 years, and now somebody who gets a YouTube channel is getting all this love from the dealership. And I'm like, well, there's a difference between being like a local shop than somebody that has a national audience of 500,000 people. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
It's different. There's proven metrics that drive those, that drive the business now.
Well, things evolve over time. Everything does, and this is an evolution in marketing.
Right.
Right. I think you're also kind of probably dealing with the industry who is probably slower to adapt to change, and our like technology is changing so fast, and the generations are adapting to that technology so fast. But we're in an industry that is slow to change, and slow to adapt, and slow to do new things.
Yeah, I could agree with that. I mean, old habits die hard. I mean, but yeah, the influencer marketing, it is really on the rise. And it's exciting to see like who's getting picked up, who's getting noticed, who's getting sponsored. It's really nice to see everybody wanting to collaborate with everyone.
Right. Yeah, for sure. It provides I think it provides a lot of opportunity for a lot of different people in a lot of different ways, right?
Yeah.
For sure. So when you do Sturgis and Daytona, how many sales folks do they bring in like you for these type of rallies? What's that look like?
Sturgis is like the outlier. I would say Sturgis, they probably bring in 30 to 40 people.
Okay.
Other rallies like Daytona, Bike Week and Biketoberfest, they probably bring in 20, 22, 25 people. Bikes Blues Barbecue down in Arkansas, you might be closer to, 18 people in addition to like the home sales people. So at Laconia, it felt like there was only about 15 of us travelers.
Okay.
But most of the travelers in Laconia came from like different dealerships owned by the same ship branch. So that was a little bit different. Yeah.
Interesting.
Well,
I didn't think about that, but yeah, that makes sense too. Just bringing in folks from dealerships they already own.
And I
Yeah.
think Sturgis and Daytona are different in the fact that all of the tertiary things besides the salespeople for the dealerships, right? So like a place like Kraus or S&S Cycle or, whatever, name the brand, is bringing people in to work in their tents. You know what I mean? Like HPI is bringing people in to do installs of their exhaust systems and things like that. So there is a wider market for people that work at those events that do that. I know, Wild Ass Seats is in Minnesota, really close to us. I know Craig that owns that, and he employs people that just work at Sturgis for him because he has two setups there. So I think those really huge events I think are outliers because they have more of everything, right? Of not only the salespeople but the other type of tertiary dealers too. But it's great to hear your side of that when you talk about just from a sales perspective. You've worked so many of them now that you have a good idea of what each one kind of looks like.
Yeah, my first year. It was kind of like just blindly going through it and just showing up. But yeah, it got easier, and I had like a system for the way I packed, for what I brought, for what as soon as my flight landed, I would go to the grocery store and stock up. So yeah, there was a learning curve just working rallies. I mean, yeah, you're selling bikes during the day, but like you're living in a hotel for 2 weeks.
Right.
Yeah.
Right. If you let's take like Sturgis, Daytona, and Arizona Bike Week. Let's take those off the map. What's your favorite event other than those like really big ones, right? What would be your favorite event that you've worked or that you've sold at or whatever outside of like the really well-known ones?
I really had a good time in Rogers, Arkansas at Bikes Blues Barbecue.
Okay.
Really great riding down there. The weather was decent. It was, it's around this time. I think it's actually next weekend this year for this year's Bikes Blues Barbecue. The dealership that hosted us was very generous. I don't think I even had to go to the grocery store. They gave us like meal coupons in the morning, fed us every day, twice a day, gave us rally bucks. The hotel was really close by. I sold a lot of bikes, and it wasn't like pulling teeth. I felt like up in Laconia, everyone was very like know-it-all, an educated consumer.
Okay.
But also not afraid to be arrogant. And so it was just kind of like every sale felt like an argument, or like, you had to deal with a different type of ego. But I had a really good time in Bikes Blues Barbecue. I liked the people. I liked the vibe. I liked the riding, the scenery. It was just kind of like a hidden gem, and it wasn't too far from home. It didn't take too much time to travel there, and I had a good time there.
Right. I think it's funny that you say that. I think you're also dealing with like two completely different cultures of people, right? You're kind of Northeast people versus people in the South. People in the Northeast, I think, are a little bit more high strung, right? They're a little bit, they're a little bit, like you said, I don't know, arrogant. Is that the right word for it?
Don't go pissing off half our listeners here. Jesus Christ, Ryan. Come on, man.
But no, I mean, I think I said this a couple podcasts ago, is like in the United States, there's every state is like a different culture and a different grouping of people. You know what I mean? And each one of those cultures and grouping of people have their own kind of way of doing things, their own food, their own, way they talk, their own dialect, their own, all of those things are unique to each individual area. I think my experience with people that live in the Northeast, they're a little bit more straightforward in their talk, right? They're very like, there's no like in between trying to be nice. You know what I mean? They're just, all of that is like removed from their speech.
It was a little more brash at times.
Yeah, brash. I think that's a great way to describe it. And I don't think it's intentional in their, like I don't think they're trying to be intentionally mean or whatever. I just think that's how they communicate.
Right. And I didn't realize how much I was going to have to deal with the, Northeast type of, people working down in Daytona.
Oh, sure.
Like
Sure.
everyone is either a snowbird or they retire and they come down south to Florida. So I have sold to so many people from like upstate New York, New Jersey, Virginia, like during Bike Week in Daytona. So I also I encounter that type of customer a couple times a year, being down in Daytona and then Laconia.
Sure.
So yeah.
Yeah, there's a lot of people. It's funny, growing up East Tennessee, we call those people halfbacks because they would move to Florida and a lot of them get tired of the weather, and they'd move halfway back. They moved to East Tennessee and they want to have all four seasons,
Okay.
in the mountains, right? So we jokingly call them halfbacks. They moved halfway back to New York. They just didn't make it all the way back.
Ah,
And yeah, so there's a bit of Northeast folks in East Tennessee nowadays because of that. It's interesting. So you could always tell them when they walked into my bank because they didn't sound like us. They were very much different. But no, all good. So Alicia, you said you started on a Sportster 883 like a lot of folks did. So what got you to that point, and then how's it evolved since then?
ooh, well, taking it a step back further from when I first started riding the 883, my brother, when probably 2013, 2012, my brother bought a motorcycle and he was like, Alicia, you have to do this. You have to ride. You have to try it. You're gonna love it. You're gonna love it. Because I drove a stick shift at the time. He's like, you have it down. It's just everything's in a different place. So let me teach you how to ride. And I was at the time in college, and I'm pretty sure finals were approaching. And I was like, dude, I just don't have time. And he's like, come on, just one day. I was like, all right, fine. So my brother taught me how to ride his motorcycle, and I believe it was a street bike, but it was like a Honda. I don't really remember exactly what it was. I'd have to look through pictures. But anyways, he taught me how to ride while I was in college. And then fast forward a couple years later, he passed away. And I kind of felt like I needed to start riding a motorcycle because he was so adamant about me learning to ride and wanted to share that, skill with me and wanted to share that passion with me. And so he had taught me, and so it was like, you know what, I'm gonna go buy a Harley. I just got that wild hair, and I was like, all right, I'm gonna go buy one. Whatever, rest is history. So I bought the Iron 883, and I'd always liked bikes. Like my dad brought me to like biker barbecues when I was a kid, and I loved reading Harley books as a kid, and I was used to being around my dad's biker friends, but had never really owned my own until I finally pulled the trigger after my brother passed away. So when I bought my first Harley, my dad was like, wait, what the hell? My daughter got a Harley and I don't have one? Because even though my dad was taking me to biker barbecues, he met the bikers through NA meetings. So
Okay.
he wasn't a biker at that time. Not to say that he wasn't like down for it, but he didn't own a bike then, and up to the point where I bought my bike. So when my dad saw that I bought my first bike and it was a Harley, he was like, hold on, my daughter bought a Harley and I don't have one. So he like naturally 2 weeks later, like to the day, went and bought a Harley. And so my dad and I just lost my brother, he lost his son. So my dad and I kind of oddly coped and like on our Harleys, and like because my brother used to ride, we kind of like felt like we were, I don't know, there was something very like comforting to us when we both rode together. And so my dad and I kind of like hopped on the Harley train together pretty hard our first year. And less than a year of me riding that Sportster, him and I were riding out to Sturgis. Like I had
Awesome.
had a 1 year of riding under my belt, and we rode all the way to Sturgis that year, which was really nice because my dad, he had some other friends that were in a different like club. It was like Fire and Iron, like some firefighter friends of his, and they like taught me how to ride in formation. They taught me, just all these different like hand signals, throttle talk, all this stuff that was like way over my head at the time. But it was really insightful, and like it was such a good trip, and like just having to learn how to just be like you and your bike at all times. Like if you need to run to the store, hop on the bike. It's raining, hop on the bike. Oh, you need to hit the shower house, hop on the bike. Like that was a very like eye-opening Sturgis trip for me, and I couldn't wait to like bring somebody else to Sturgis like the next year, or like the next opportunity I had. I was like, oh my God, I got to take you there. If you haven't been yet, let me, So I was like hooked after my first year, and just kind of started selling Harleys at the dealership, like completely made like an about face in my career. And it just really started becoming my lifestyle
It changed your life, it sounds like.
Yeah, it kind of did, in a good way. In a good way.
Yeah, absolutely. And I think it's awesome that it was kind of a coping mechanism and maybe therapeutic for your dad and you. That's pretty awesome. I wish my dad used to race dirt bikes, and so I wish that he's never gonna get on another motorcycle again. I wish I could get one ride in with him. That's cool. That's something I'm sure you'll cherish forever.
I think
That's
it's
awesome.
I think it's really cool to me when you kind of tell that story, because I hear so often that once people start working in the industry, they lose their passion for actually riding. You know what I mean? It's like riding brought them to the industry, and then they get in and they start doing something. They open a shop, or they, do something that's connected to the industry, but then they stop riding altogether. And I think it's cool that you haven't really lost that part of it, that you're still passionate about riding, and you continue to do that even though you've worked in sales and worked in parts, and you know what I mean. You're kind of doing more things within the industry, that part of it hasn't gone away. Has there been times when you felt like, oh, I could just like walk away?
Not so much walk away, but there's definitely been times like this morning I was supposed to we do these Sunday rides, and I was supposed to meet up with my friend to go for a ride, and I just couldn't. You have to understand, I get every other weekend kid free, and I just couldn't bring myself to like go meet up on a group ride. So my mentality on like riding with strangers in a large group has kind of changed a little bit, but I think the passion has always been there. And I've been for the past 4 years trying to figure out how to still, be an active motorcycle rider as a single mom who has to take her kid to school every morning, pick him up every afternoon. How am I supposed to ride to work? Well, I can't ride to work anymore. So like I have to make sure that I take care of me on my free time and get my riding in. Now I will say, like, working rallies, I'm not as hard on myself if I need to trailer there or if I fly in for a rally, because for one, it's work, and for two, if I'm going to work a rally, typically I don't bring my son, and so someone's at home watching him. So I've got like, as opposed to spending 2 days traveling to get to the rally, me just flying in and being there within a few hours, I save myself 2 days on the front end, 2 days on the back end. So I've gotten used to being at rallies and not having a bike, but Sturgis is the one I try to make sure I have my bike at.
Sure.
Yeah.
There's lots. I mean, they're some of the best riding in the country. So I kind of, and everybody that is there, right? So
Yeah.
that always makes a huge difference. So let me ask you this, because Luke and I actually connected over riding with our children. And I know that you post a lot of content, and you've had them exposed to two wheels and that kind of stuff. So and I know that you or I don't know if you still do, but you had a bike with a sidecar. Do you still have that?
Oh yeah.
Okay.
I'm not allowed to get it.
So when he, I'm assuming, but I don't want to assume, but I'm assuming that when he can like reach the pegs with his legs, that you'll ride with him two up. Is that a correct assumption?
That's a correct assumption. I just I have posted, even before I got the sidecar, I posted a video of me. He was sitting on the tank of my Dyna. It was in neutral, but it was on. It was running. And I was walking it backwards because I had to move it from one garage bay and into the next. And I was like, sure, you can sit on the tank. And I posted that video, and I got so many comments from people I don't even think follow me that were like, oh my gosh, I'm a nurse and I work in the ER and I've seen so many accidents, this. And so like, I wasn't like, I'm not prepared to take that kind of like criticism on from one, strangers, but two, my child's father. I want to be able to talk to him and be like, hey, are you comfortable with this? Because right now, like, he fidgets too much. He can't reach the pegs. I don't want him in the front because that's not safe. So I'm uncomfortable riding him two up right now.
Yeah.
He's just small. He's just little. Like,
Yep.
I live in the city, Luke, as you know, people drive crazy down here, and there's a pothole every, 3 feet. So it's just, it's chaotic. I don't want to like endanger him just, in an attempt to look cool. It's like that's not what it's about. Like, sure, I want to share my passion with him, but like in due time, little by little, it'll get
Yep.
better.
Yep. I think both my girls were around 7 or 8 before we could, because my rule was, and they like every year when riding season would come, they would like run out to the garage and jump on the back of the bike, and I would stand it up and they would see if they can reach the pegs. I wasn't going to get kid pegs or anything like that. You have to be able to like reach the pegs,
Right.
and I remember because I had a Nightster, so I had the Sportster 1200, and my oldest daughter rode on that, and then I traded it in, and my youngest daughter got so mad because she's like, your new bike is so much bigger and I'm not going to be able to ride it when my sister but then my youngest daughter is like 6 inches taller than her, so so yeah, and I have little people in my house too. My oldest daughter is 18, she's in college now, but she's 4'11",
Wow.
so she's really short, and I'm 6'3". So like to have, yeah, my wife's very short, so she's like 5'1". But my oldest daughter, or my youngest daughter, is 5'6" now, and she's 13, so she's going to be tall. But yeah, I've ridden with all of my both of my daughters and my wife, and and I'm not I'm just going to say this because I feel for you. I don't understand why there is a double standard, and there absolutely shouldn't be. But no one has ever sent a comment to my Instagram saying, I can't believe you're riding with your daughter on your bike. You know what I mean? Like, I don't understand why people feel it necessary, and why is that different for a mother riding with their child on their bike, whether it's a boy or a girl, it shouldn't matter, right? But you shouldn't receive any of that. If I've never received it, you certainly should not. You know what I mean? It's a choice that because I mean, my wife's had friends ask her, oh, you let your husband take your daughters out? And my wife's like, like, this is a part of who he is. This is a part of who we are as a family. And, he wears a helmet. They wear helmets. Like, there's mitigated risk. I'm not, I do all of the right things. You know what I mean? But it's kind of like that whole thing. One of the things I've always said was I like the fact that my daughters can see me do something that I'm passionate about, because I want them to follow whatever their dreams are and whatever they're passionate about in their lives, right? And if you
Right.
show them that as an adult you can have those passions and those dreams still, then they're way more likely to do that themselves. And maybe not ride a motorcycle, but follow whatever their dreams or their passions are. So I'm sorry that happens to you as a mother. I wish it wouldn't. I wish there wasn't that double standard, because you shouldn't have to face that. And like you said, you're like, I'm not prepared for the criticism. There shouldn't be any, because it's nobody's business but yours.
I appreciate that. Yeah, it kind of felt like it came out of left field because I was like, guys, I'm literally like, I wasn't even hitting the throttle. It was literally just running and in neutral, and I was backing it up. We weren't like, my feet were on the ground, and all this stuff was coming in like, oh, I work in the ER and I've seen this. And I'm like, I don't want to read your like traumatizing stories. Like, so yeah, that was a bit much. And not like that's the reason why I decided to not. I mean, I it's my kid. I mean, I
Right.
don't feel comfortable just given where I live. He can't touch there. Yeah. So
Yeah.
it wasn't those ladies on my feed that made the decision for me, but it was very like uncomfortable to like, like I never thought I'd be telling myself like, don't even read the comments. But bec-
Yeah.
I'm surprised that the sidecar content that I put up hasn't gotten anything like that yet. But I mean, knock on wood, yet. Um, but it really hasn't. But I'm yes, I feel more comfortable with him like in the sidecar because I'm not worried about like, is he hanging on? He's
Mhm.
in the sidecar and I can look over and see him. I can't just, it's not like I'm reaching for him and making
Yeah.
sure he's there. Um, but it's still riding a motorcycle. We're still on the same roads I would be on, so I'm kind of shocked that the comments haven't come in on that, to be honest.
Yeah. Well, I feel like though, I mean, you definitely are sharing your passion with him. Just in a, it's not him riding with you. It's he's got his own bike. He's got his own little mini chopper, and he's kicking ass on that thing. I mean, he's the most badass 4-year-old I've ever met. So
I
it's cool
appreciate it.
to it's fun. It's fun to watch him. Yeah, he seems to enjoy every minute of it too.
Yeah.
I'm working on him learning how to ride a pedal bike. See, we kind of see. Here's the thing that most people don't know. He can't ride a pedal bike. He still works with training wheels on it. He's been so spoiled with that electric mini chopper that, I mean, can you blame him? Like, if you had to just do this and all of a sudden you're moving, why would you then like want to get a pedal bike and work for it? He finally experienced what a slight hill was like, and he was like,
Hey, Sophia went through the same thing. We won at Gateway. I won in a drawing for one of those Harley Kid e-bikes, and so she got that, and she got that before she really learned how to do a pedal bike. And she's like, well, "This is bullshit. I don't want to pedal." Same thing. Like, I don't want to pedal up a hill. Like, sorry,
no.
babe, you got to at least learn. Just learn for me,
Yeah.
But she really enjoyed the electric bike way more. It's so much easy.
Those Strider bikes are really popular. Like they seem like they're like a good in between because you have to use your legs to get yourself going. You know, the
I didn't
ones that
use
are
one of
like
those.
they're like the two wheels and then they have no pedals on them at all.
Right, yeah.
And so then you
Oh,
have to
okay.
like run with your legs on them and
Oh.
those kind of things are crazy. But I have I have a different like a way different feeling about like riding a motorcycle, parenting, like being a kid on the back because I have this very distinct memory. So my mom's second husband is who like kind of developed that passion for riding in me, and I distinctly remember. So we had the 85 FXRT that I have was the first bike that I rode on, and
Wow.
we had a paint match sidecar, and my mom would ride in the sidecar, and I would ride in the back, and I have this very distinct memory. I was sleeping. I was totally sleeping. We were riding in the canyons in California, and I was like tipping off. Like I was straight up falling off the bike. And my mom looked over and she sees me because I was coming down towards her and she just puts her hand up and she like leaned me up on the bike and then we just kept on going. And she told me this, but I fell asleep on the back of the motorcycle all the time. Like
Wow.
I would loop my hands in the back of my mom's husband's belt, almost like a seatbelt, but I'd loop my hands back there in the back of his belt. And then I had like one of those half face shield helmets and I'd put it down on my chest so the wind wasn't blowing up. I'd fall right to sleep. I'd sleep on the back of a motorcycle all the time. So for me, like it's a little bit different, you know what I mean? To because I grew up on the back of a bike, it's a little bit different to think about it from a parent standpoint. It doesn't seem so odd, like but like even when I started doing that, when I brought my daughters out to the bike, I was like, okay, like if you're gonna ride, here's what you have to do. I'd make them walk her on the bike. They had to pull the pedals down, the pegs down, you know what I mean? They had to learn to get on and do all the things, and so it's a different world now with comm units and things like that. You're talking to your child in your helmet,
Yeah,
so the transition's a lot easier.
see that.
So let's talk about the brand. Let's talk about the clothing company. Can you share with us how, what was your inspiration to get that started? What was the origin story on that? And if you've got anything new and exciting about that just was released or getting ready to be released, we'd love to hear about it as well.
Awesome. Yeah. So I'll tell you how it all came about. I'd have to take you back to Sturgis. So this is the second time I went out to Sturgis. And I brought a girlfriend with me, and it was just me and her. And we were parked on different parts of downtown Sturgis, and we were getting ready to go back to the cabin. And I was like, all right, well, you're right here. Like, I'm 2 blocks over. Wait for me to get to you. And then when you see me, just follow me. And we'll go back. Because our cabin was in Keystone, which is like, it was like an hour from downtown Sturgis. So anyways, it was past sundown. It was getting dark, getting cold, and at the time I was wearing, black jeans, black boots, black leather jacket, black full face helmet, and my Road King at the time was black on black. So I wasn't very visible, even if, so in the middle of an intersection, I got T-boned by a minivan who just literally plowed right into me. And it was just a distracted driver situation. And so I started thinking, like, once I, recovered, got home, and wanted to get back on my bike, I was like, man, I should probably get some more visible gear, because even if that driver wasn't distracted, I wasn't that visible. Hence it was after sundown and all the black I was wearing. And so I started, working at a dealer. I was already working at a dealership, but I was like, let me look around and try to find some high-vis stuff. And I felt like the only high-vis stuff that I could find was like the rain gear that to me looked like a construction worker's vest with the bar and shield on it. But it did nothing for me. And I was like, I mean, I get it, it's Harley and it's high vis, but like, I'm not going to wear that. Like maybe if I had to, but like, I'm not going to buy that. I'm not going to, like, there's got to be something else out there. So my idea behind the brand was to create visible attire that was in line with, that was trendy, that was more fashion forward, you didn't have to look like a construction worker or a flagger at the airport just to be visible on your bike. I wanted to kind of like create a clothing line that was safe and trendy. Like, you didn't have to sacrifice style just to be visible on your bike. So that's kind of the whole idea behind it. So all my stuff is either reflective or high vis or both. But I try to work it into, just like everyday attire. And anytime I have like a vendor booth at an event, I don't want to be just another black t-shirt that you buy with a graphic on it or a punny, statement or slogan. So yeah, I'm really trying to make a lot of outerwear and like unique accessories just to add to or complement your style already as it is as a biker. And just kind of adding a little bit of visibility, but not sacrificing any style or swag that you might come to the table with already.
Nice. So so how long ago did you start the brand?
So the accident happened in 2021 in Sturgis. So I started rolling on the ideas and getting like the logo and buying the LLC in 2022. I didn't officially launch until February of 23 though.
Okay.
But I owned the LLC and it was in the works in 22.
Gotcha. Yeah, it takes time to put all that together. There's a lot goes on starting a company. That's awesome. So do you have and obviously I'm familiar with your brand and I know Ryan and I both have a lot of stuff from you. Do you have a favorite piece of merch that you've put out that stands out to you?
I really like the flame hoodies that I did, the Hellraiser hoodie. That one was kind of like, the idea behind it was, so for instance, let's say like the typical construction worker hoodie that you would think of, that's like black on the bottom, yellow on top, and has like that H looking pattern for like with the reflective stripes.
Sure.
I wanted to take that and do like a biker spin on it. So I was like, let's do this, but in flames. And instead, and like outline the flames with the reflective pinstriping. So like, I thought that was really cool. That hoodie took a few mock-ups before my manufacturer and I nailed it. And like the design concept, the material, and how wide the flame, lining was going to be. So that one, it took a lot of time, money, and effort just to bring that to production. Not to mention it got, like stuck in customs for a while, my first shipment. So that was awesome. I felt like it was like a delayed release, but I'm really proud of that one. It took a lot of time to see it like come to the table and like be an actual active product I could offer. And as soon as I got them in stock, continuously they keep selling out. And so like it was my first product I've had that sold out.
Okay.
Like almost instantly. I've had products that do well, like my hot damn gloves, like they do really well. I have, some clears that do well. I've got some shirts that do well, but like in terms of a product straight up just selling out in all colors, except for like maybe 1 or 2 3XLs, that was it. So like that was the first time I really like hit the nail on the head, and also like it was clearly like it was you know, it was high vis, it was reflective, it was trendy, it was visible. So I was like, yes, this is,
Checked off all the boxes, right?
yeah, you know, it did it for me, and I guess it did it for a lot of people because it did really well. So without like trying to sound like I'm tooting my own horn here, like I'm really proud of that one.
Yeah. Sounds like
Hopefully,
you should be.
thanks.
Oh, I mean, I love it. I've got the black one. I love that hoodie. The first thing I ever bought from you was I think your original hoodie, the black Peripheral Apparel one, and I've said this today. That hoodie and the Hellraiser, the most comfortable and thickest and like best quality hoodies I've ever owned. Honest to God, I'm not getting paid to say that. I'm not sponsored by Alicia, but no, it's great quality. And those hot damn gloves. I mean, I've got a set on each bike. That way I don't forget them. I just bought a second pair, keeping one on each bike. So I like to show people when they're on their phone as I pass them on my bike. I like to hold my hand up and get off, because it says get off your phone. So those gloves are great. What do you have, Ryan? I know you've got some of her stuff too, don't you?
Yeah, I have the I don't even remember what you'd call it, but it's like a UV kind of material shirt. It's the black one that has like the checker pattern on the sleeves.
Yeah.
And it has the thumb holes. I really like that because and I don't know if it's just like I don't do one of those quirky things about my personality, but like I like everything to like fit me a certain way. I don't like when I ride with my sleeves like pull up, you know what I mean? So like I buy a lot of those and I'm like I'm not trying to like get skin cancer or anything like that anymore, so I'm always wearing sleeves no matter what the temperature is out. And I really do like those UV style shirts that have the thumb holes in them that keep the sleeves from pulling up when I'm going down the road. You know what I mean? Maybe that sounds like an old man thing to say, but
It does.
It probably does. Yeah.
You're old.
Yeah,
I mean,
I am.
you're
I
50,
am. I'm
so.
old. I'm 50. Right. You're right. So like, I like that one a lot, and I like the fact that I like to wear a vest a lot, and so because where I ride it's cold all the time. So I like the fact that the UV stuff is on the sleeve. So that's really, and then I wear a Simpson helmet, and Simpson actually has some reflective tape on the padding on the back of the helmet that you can see. And so with the sleeves and that reflective on the back of the tape, if I'm wearing my vest, it doesn't cover up all of the reflective material that's on that shirt, right? And so I really like that one. Obviously, the gloves are great. I just I have a hard time because the gloves are wonderful, but I have such a short period of time that I can wear like an MX style glove. You know what I mean? Because they're just it's too cold for me here, so it's kind of like one of those things where it's like I have it for a very short period of time, kind of thing. But you know, it's the hoodie is actually the next thing on my list that I'm gonna get, just because hoodies are something that I wear a lot more now. I found for me at least layering is a better option than a lot of other things. And I don't know, I tell people all the time that I'm a proponent for heated gear. I'm a huge heated gear fan because of where I ride. And so having anything that's going to add, and heated gear is all black, right? So I have like a gray bike with like black gear on. So anything that adds to that visibility portion, I really enjoy, because I'm also like not trying to light up my bike like a Christmas tree either. I want enough lights for it to be safe, but I also like it to be discreet. You know what I mean? So I like smaller signal lights in the front, that kind of stuff. So just things like that. So the opportunity to make yourself more visible day or night, and like you said, have something that's more fashion forward, or is at least something that is more intentional and less like you said, like a safety vest, right?
You don't want to look like Bob the Builder.
Right. Well,
day,
you know, the funny thing is we see that all the time up here, and I started thinking about Alicia's company, because there's an air base right outside of town, and these young airmen, if they want to ride a motorcycle, they have to wear one of those construction vests, right? And I'm like, these guys need to know about this company because they wouldn't have to wear the construction vest.
That's right.
It's actually required for them if they want to ride a motorcycle. They have to wear like a high vis, and so yeah, they'll get like they'll the MPs will come after them and arrest them right on the airbase if they're not wearing their high vis stuff. So yeah, because when you're in the military, your body's government property, right? So
I guess so. Yeah.
right. So they have to do that. But I was thinking about that this summer especially, and I was like, man, they really need to get in line with Alicia's company because it's a good idea. What I like is how you took something that could have been a reason why someone would leave motorcycling, and you turned it completely on its head and made a company out of it, as opposed to, oh, I'm going to quit riding because I got T-boned, you know?
Right.
And I don't blame people that lots of people get into accidents and they can't get on a bike anymore because they're terrified. And I'm not judging anybody for doing that. I just think it's cool that you turn it on its head.
I think some people expected me to kind of do that, but I mean, it brings me so much joy. I wasn't going to let like one accident, like it was an accident, you know, like I don't think I meant to plow me down or anything like that. You know, this is the risk that we take. And like, yeah, it did take some time to recover some money, you know, bike had to get put back together, but it didn't take the joy out of it for me, you know.
So for the folks that are familiar with you on social media, obviously your Road King stands out. It's a beautiful bike and a lot of great work's done to it. Is that the same bike that you got T-boned on?
It is.
Oh, wow. So you didn't total it out and go, all right, I'm going to go buy a bike and fix it up, or find one that was already fixed up. You rebuilt your bike in a fancy way.
Yeah, I had already dumped like 20 grand into it on top of what I paid for it. So I was like, oh my God, I have so much money into it. Like, don't ask me what I'm at now. But at the time, I thought I had way too much money into it to like let it go. And nothing happened to the motor or the frame. It was all cosmetic because of the crash bars that I had, and literally my foot took most of the brunt of it. So yeah, I had to get like new side covers, tank, fenders, bags, new crash bars. I will say Santoro Fabworks, their crash bars and engine guard, they're probably what saved my bike and my frame. You know, because if I would have had any damage to the frame, it would have been totaled, you know, because. So my insurance company asked me, they were like, we can total it out if you want, but we can also, like, you have enough value, because I would turn in, like, any money that, like, any receipts from money that I put into it, I would say, hey, I've got this amount of accessories in it. So they were like, you can go either way. Do you want a new bike? Because they were kind of like, most Harley, like any other bike company, like the owner of the bike typically wants it totaled out. They want a brand new one, but you Harley people are different. And I was like, yeah, I'm one of them, and we're not totaling it. Like, let's just get this out. So, yeah, it's the same bike. Thank God that time it was before it was painted. Like, my plan was, like, it felt built riding it to Sturgis that year, and my plan was to ride back home and over the winter get it painted, and then I was going to be done.
Sure.
That's it. But I mean, it obviously just, they're never done, let's be honest.
No. Done for now, right?
Right.
Yeah. So tell us a little bit about what you did. Like, what did that build entail, and who did the work and paint and all that?
So I brought it to Kyle Birch with Forever Rad, and I kind of like ran into him in the dealership that I worked at, and he introduced himself to me, and I was like, oh, you've got that like mustard Road King. I really like your Road King. I just bought one, and I was like, I want to do T-bars and a 2-in-1 on mine. And what'd you go with? Like, how do you know? Like, because I was coming from a Sportster, so like where your risers start at is not the same you moving up to a Road King. So I had questions, and I was just like, hey, you've got one that I like, and I kind of want to model my bike after that. So my plan was just to pick his brain enough to be like, hey, what bars and risers should I go with? And let's talk 2-in-1 exhaust. That's what I want to do. So I wanted T-bars and 2-in-1 exhaust. That was what I wanted. And he was like, no, start with suspension. And I was like, what do you mean? You want me to spend like $3,000 on like some stuff that you can't even tell it's there? Sounded ridiculous to me, but like that was where my learning curve began with building bikes. Like, so the passion was already there, the ability to ride was already there, but like understanding like what all goes into a build and what makes a bike like work well, perform well, look cool, like so I learned a lot from Kyle, and initially was planning on just getting the parts from the dealership and having the dealership install all my stuff because, well, I worked there and I got a discount, but I built a relationship, like a business type relationship with Kyle, and next thing I knew, we're, kind of doing this whole build, and he hooked me up with Jason Springle, who did my paint. Phenomenal paint. He's painted so many different bikes, different cars, so many different,
good.
very
Yeah,
talented,
yeah.
very nice guy. Love Jason. So yeah, I just kind of worked with both of them, and then also through Kyle, I met other, friends of his that were in the industry, that he would introduce me to, that would kind of like nudge me to like go one more, like, oh, you're getting exhaust and a tune, well, you're gonna have to have it dyno tuned anyway. Hey, you should get a cam while you're in there, like before. And so I was like, oh yeah, you're right. They're like, well, you're spending all this money on the outside on cosmetics, like you're really gonna leave that engine stock? I was like, oh, not me. I was totally planning on that. Like, so I was like, oh god, yeah. Like, I'm so glad we're having this conversation. Like, before I really got into it. So like, just meeting new people like in the industry, and then just having conversations with them about their bikes and their experience, and like hearing what they, the tidbits that they had of advice that they had for me, kind of helped me form that build. And like I said, initially I was not planning on going like full blown like build, but then after the accident, I was kind of like, well, let's just keep throwing money at it,
Yeah, yeah.
So it wasn't the plan, but
Well, it turned out great. That bike's beautiful. Sounds great too.
Thank
the cam and the 2-in-1 exhaust.
yeah.
Yeah, that's awesome.
Oh yeah, I
So-
guess I went off the rails there on that question. I can tell you
No.
what.
No, that's all good. So you said you did Santora Fabworks crash bars. So what else? What other parts did you throw on that thing?
So I've got an HPI 2-in-1 exhaust, a shorty. I've got a Star Racing 3030 cam. I did the TTS tuner. I've got my machinist risers, I think Lucky Days bars, Memphis Shades fairing, Olin's suspension front and rear. I did the inverted front end, Brembo brakes, Speed Dealer swing arm. Chachos all around. I do one of my favorite mods on my bike is actually my tank cutouts. A lot of people, the first thing they ask me when they see it is, how much gas mileage did you lose? I'm like, not enough to care, because when I'm ready to stop, I stop for gas, and like,
Sure.
I'm only road tripping probably twice a year on the bike, so I mean, once 2 hours have gone by, I'm ready to pull off, and so I don't really notice the gas mileage difference. But being able to bring my knees in just like puts my hips at a better position, and I don't know, I don't feel so man spread on the bike. So I'm able to just kind of like sit in a more relaxed position and kind of like grip the bike with my knees almost, and if I want to get a little aggressive in my riding stance, I can. So that's probably one of my favorite things that I've done to the bike. Yeah, so Larry from Lone Star Chappers did those cutouts for me.
Okay.
I did carbon fiber tins and carbon fiber wheels too. Those are some big
Nice.
ones.
Steve
Love it.
Chamberlain's side covers.
That's right. I did the Screamin' Speed and Fab side covers, which I love. Just that's my ode to FXRs. I wanted to show that triangle in the frame. I know I'm forgetting more than I'm.
No, that's okay. I mean, shoot, there's a lot done to it. So, well, I think I've seen it in person plenty of times and rode with you, man. That's just a beautiful bike. I've always thought that was awesome. And, for me, I started following you, I guess, probably back in right before your wreck and on Instagram. So I remember all of a sudden, there's pictures maybe from the hospital or something, and then you riding back in a truck and not riding your bike. I was like, oh man, that sucks. It was cool to watch the evolution of that motorcycle through social media. It's been fun to watch. Yeah, absolutely. So, flipping gears back to the brand, any new releases here lately, or anything coming out soon that we need to know about and have on our radar to purchase?
Got 2 new colors in the Hellraiser hoodie on their way. They should be here early October. I'll say the first half of it because I don't want to speak too soon. Other than that, I got these really cool bandanas that are reflective,
Nice.
which turned out way better than I thought. They're really soft, and I was hoping they weren't going to be like too starchy and just not be as comfortable to like wear. I've got like sensitive skin, so I was like, man, I really hope they're like comfortable, wearable. And it seems that like they reflect very well for being a screen print on top of a bandana material. So that's probably my newest solo item, because the Hellraiser hoodie, even though I have new colors coming, it's not necessarily a new item.
Sure.
And other than that, I am working on a jacket, but being that it's an outerwear item, I don't want to give away too many clues as to like what kind of jacket it's going to be, because there's going to be some back and forth. It's going to take some time to bring this one to fruition, just like the Hellraiser hoodie. I'm pretty I don't want to say type A, but I like things a certain way, and I want to get it right before I make a big investment. So.
Oh, sure. Yeah, I mean, absolutely, that makes sense. Sorry, my dog is losing her mind back here. Yeah, no, I'm excited about the jacket. It'll be fun to see how that evolves and what that looks like when time comes. We'll keep that on our radar. Look for the jacket. Is it going to be men and women's jacket, or just?
Yeah, it's going to be a men's cut, but I mean, like I would wear a men's jacket. So yeah, I'm working with the manufacturer in terms of like I start from scratch. I don't just like look at, here's your options of jackets. Where would you like your logo on it? It's not that easy for me. So I like to take it from scratch and kind of like really design it from the ground up.
Have your fingerprint on it, right? Like, make sure you have a say so in it.
Right.
I mean, it's your brand. You should, right? So that's awesome. Well, that's I'm excited. I'm always looking for new. I have this thing with jackets. I have probably way too many jackets, and will never wear all of them enough to justify having this many. But I'm always looking for a new jacket, so we'll keep an eye out for that one.
I'll keep you in mind.
Yeah, absolutely. Well, so I guess rally season's over for you for this year. Any trips on the bike or any rides planned before it gets too cold here in St. Louis?
Other than like locally, I'd like to do the rat run if I can get my rear brakes and master cylinder taken care of here quickly. So yeah, just the rat run here locally. And other than that, I honestly don't have anything planned. But I would like to make it down to Bikes Blues Barbecue, even as just a tourist now this time. Because it's not too far, and I don't feel like I'd need to like really plan it. So,
That Eureka Springs, is that where that's at?
yeah, Roger, Eureka Springs.
Yeah,
about the
that's
stuff.
That's pretty riding down there. That's a fun ride
Yeah,
down there. I've just ridden through once, but I really enjoyed it. I'd like to go back. That was pretty cool.
I know.
Yeah, absolutely. When is that rally?
Pretty sure that it's next weekend because I believe
Okay.
it's the same weekend as the rat run.
Oh, okay, gotcha. Yeah. Well, I will be. I'm leaving Friday morning at like 3 a.m. and riding to Knoxville so I can catch a full day, 2 full days of Smoky Mountain Bike Week, and the last 2 days of it, and see some folks and see my family since I'll be there, and and then I'll be back Monday. But a quick trip to Knoxville, but it'll be fun. I've never had a bike at Smoky Mountain Bike Week. I've been there in town, just happened to be in town during it and popped in. But I'm excited to be able to go down there and ride and hop on a group ride with some of the guys from Dream Rides and whoever else. So it should be a good time.
That sounds like a good time. I'm jealous.
Yeah, it's always fun riding the mountains. It's not flat and straight like it is in North Dakota.
I have no idea what you're talking about riding mountains.
No mountains around there,
right? There is a mountain, but it's usually in the wintertime. We call it a snow hill.
Is it really that flat in North Dakota?
Yeah.
Really?
So it's like, you've ridden up to Sturgis, right? So you've ridden through like eastern South Dakota. That's what my entire state looks like that. So, So it's just, I don't know, like if you go back, 500,000 years, the glaciers pushed down to our area. When they receded, they scraped the land flat. So this area of North America is essentially completely flat. There's no mountains, there's no hills. In fact, in the like Dust Bowl days way back when they planted trees because everything was gone. Now, the byproduct of that is we have the richest farmland in all of North America.
Really?
So like where I live, our dirt here is as black as night. So like if you walk out into a farm field, if you kneel down in the dirt, you're never going to get that black dirt out of your jeans. Like it's wow. So the soil's so rich that you can smell it when you go out into a field. You can smell the nutrients in the soil. So in this little area of the country where I live, we also have like the richest farmers in the United States all live right up in this area, like the sugar beet farmers. I worked for a sugar beet farmer a couple of years ago, and he takes in about $50 million a year in sugar beets.
Jesus.
Yeah, he has
a lot of sugar beets.
Yeah, he has 12,000 acres of sugar beets. He makes about $53 million off it a year.
Holy shit.
I mean, it's farming up here is on a whole different scale because of, and we have a short growing season, but it's kind of crazy. I was just telling Luke last week that, I always have to get new tires because my tires get square before they get wore out. Because we ride, you can't get lost here. You just take a right turn and eventually you'll end up at home, And if you don't like right turns, then just take a left turn and you'll end up at home. But it's kind of crazy because when you're flying in a plane, if you look out the window, our entire state's built on a grid. So you can actually see the grid patterns. All of our roads are 90-degree angles. So everything's
Crazy.
North, south, east, west. We don't even have any really like curvy roads or anything because there's no reason for it. Because the easiest point to get from A to B is a straight line, right? So all of our roads are straight. So yeah, if you go all the way to western North Dakota, which is like just north of like the Dickinson area, which is just north of Rapid City or the Black Hills area, there's some like topography out there because then you're getting into like close to Montana, but pretty much the whole eastern half of our state is completely flat. On a clear night in the middle of the winter, you can see a light that's 50 miles away.
Good Lord.
Yeah. So but there's all kinds of things about that we don't have. We have a super low crime rate, like really, really low because it gets so cold here in the wintertime too, like 20, 30 below zero in the wintertime. So we just don't, people aren't like sitting outside on their porch because it's too fucking cold. You can't do that. Right. So
too cold to break into a car.
Yeah, seriously.
You freeze to death.
You can't take your gloves off to break into the car. And if you do, your hands are going to freeze to the door handle, right? So you're not trying to get stuck to a car.
Maybe that's what we need in St. Louis. We need colder weather so my truck won't get broken into again.
Yeah, like legit, it's a real thing. Because here's the deal. Like, if you wanted to be a car thief, North Dakota's where it's at. Because in the wintertime, all you have to do is go outside and everybody's car is running. Because you have to go outside and start your car. And when it gets really, really cold like that, oftentimes, like if you pull up to a grocery store, all the cars in the parking lot are going to be running
Really?
Yeah, because it's so cold. If you turn your car off and you're in the grocery store for an hour and a half or whatever, your car might not start. So like we have days where it's so cold that if your car's outside and you work an 8-hour shift, if you don't go start it at lunch, you won't go home that day because your car will not start at the end of the day. The battery will be dead. It's too cold.
That's wild.
Yeah. So, I mean, like so cold where like your skin freezes in 60 seconds, like that kind of stuff, exposed skin. So like you're saying like super bundled up, that kind of stuff. So yeah, most people when they talk about winter, like I say everywhere else in the country is rookie winter compared to what we have because we're like the coldest place in all of North America. And I was telling Bogey Biker, who we had on last week, I was telling him he lives in Texas, and I was talking to him about it, and I said, in my lifetime, I have experienced negative 78 degrees.
Wow.
78 degrees below zero. I've experienced that. The air temperature was negative 55, and we had like a 10-mile-an-hour wind. It was negative 78 with the wind chill.
Jeez.
So
yeah,
I
take no one drives electric cars up there.
You know what? Electric cars, they're here, but they're not super popular because, yeah, like the first iteration of the Prius, when the Prius first came out, they were popular because we're very remote, but everybody found out in the wintertime they were paperweights. So yeah, they don't.
Batteries won't start.
Yeah, exactly. Now the Tesla cars have done okay up here, right? Huh. But for the most part, no. Electric cars are just they're not super popular here compared to what you need to kind of survive. So like we're just like hardy people. The worst thing is just like being a motorcyclist in an area of the country where your riding season is 6 months, right? And it's only 6 months because I have heated gear and I can ride in April when it's really cold. Like I ride in 30 and 40 degree weather in the spring and in the fall so I can extend my riding season. If I rode only when it was nice, I would only ride for 3 months. Cuz like right now, like this time of year in September and October, if I was to go on a bike trip and leave in the morning, I have to pack 2 different types of clothes because it'll be 35 or 40 in the morning. It might get to 70 in the afternoon, but there's going to be frost on the ground when I leave.
Man, it's time to relocate, Ryan. Good Lord. Man, that's too damn cold.
People say that, all the time, but there's all kinds of, like it's a good place to raise kids because it's fairly safe, right? Because it's not desirable. It's not like a place that people are moving to. The wages are very good. Like your regular jobs are going to pay. Like nurses make more here. Healthcare workers make more here than they do in other places in the country.
Is pretty reasonable as well.
Cost of living it's negligible, right? Because here's the deal: we go on flex plans to heat our house because if you don't, January and February, it's going to cost you $900 to heat your house in the wintertime.
Sure.
So like you have to go on a flex plan, so you pay the same rate all year round, so that when wintertime hits, you don't have to worry about it. You can heat your house, but you don't have to pay $1,000 heating bill.
A mortgage payment and
a mortgage payment to heat your house. No, that's for real. But our houses are built different too. Like our walls are 6 to 8 inches thick because construction is different too. So there's all kinds of things that are different, but it's not bad. It's just different, right?
Couldn't do it, man.
Like
that's just me. Couldn't do it.
But
Fuck
Luke,
that.
Here's the deal. Here's the deal, though, Luke. You guys will have more murders in September in St. Louis than I'll have in 10 years.
Buddy, we'll have more murders probably this week than you will in 10 years. I mean, shit. Kidding me?
No, it's true. It's true. That that like the violent crime stuff is pretty low here.
Sure.
Sure. But we don't have a lot of cultural diversity, so there's that. It's a very like Norwegian, Polish kind of culture.
I bet you don't have a whole lot of homeless people either.
Right.
It's not. We like they migrate. Our homeless people migrate. They have to leave because it gets too cold. They can't.
They die.
Right. But our homeless shelters that we have here, they can actually sleep in the homeless shelter because they can't sleep outside. They'll die.
Sure.
Yeah.
Wild.
So they can do an overnight, but then you have to leave during the day.
Hey, real quick, I forgot. Even though I've been looking at it in the video here, I've got the Peripheral Apparel Halloween shirt on. I think you still got these for sale on the website.
Yes.
Yeah. So you guys go check it out. I don't know if I can. Yeah. There you go. But yeah, y'all go check it out. Get you one for Halloween. It's got the logo on the back that's reflective as well. that was fun. And if you scroll back far enough on Peripheral Apparel's Instagram, you'll actually see my ugly face wearing this shirt on there. From last year.
I was like going through and looking at like posts and looking at things, and I was like, man, like how did this happen? I'm like, Luke, Alicia must have been.
I was not even on the call list, and no one could meet her that day. I was the only one person available she knew. So
I'm like,
we did some.
That's why most of the pictures I've got a helmet on. I mean, let's be honest. All right,
I know
my role. I know my role.
Know your place.
Honestly, he's the closest friend to me that rides, and I hate being that person, but I'm like, I mean, as we started out this conversation talking about like we need to get content, I was like, hey, I'll ride with you today, but can you do me a favor and I'll you take some pictures for me? And it was just it kind of worked out. But yeah,
I mean, I think we literally went in about a 3-mile radius and took a bunch of pictures. We were very efficient with our time that day. It worked out pretty good. It was fun.
I like it when you have friends that are like they're down to roll with that kind of stuff too. You know what I mean? Where they're just like okay with all of that part of it. You know what I mean? That's always good. We went camping earlier this year, and Luke had some sort of check engine light on his bike. Like, everybody I know rides their motorcycle when the check engine light comes on, except Luke. He was like, I can't leave town. My check engine light's on. I'm like, Luke, like he was supposed to meet us for camping, Alicia, and he couldn't come because his check engine light was on. I'm like, what kind of excuse is that?
Oh, okay. The bike was running like shit. All right. I can't help it. All right. I wasn't going to get stuck in the middle of nowhere, Iowa. Fuck that, man. No way. I'm scared. I don't know what they do to people in them cornfields. I don't want to find out.
Alicia just got done telling a story where she rode 3 different motorcycles today, brake fluid leaking all over the place. Like, that didn't stop her. You get a check engine light, and you're like, it was like a 5-alarm emergency.
Well, I aspire to be as a badass as she is. I recognize I'm not, but I'm trying. I'm trying real hard. So,
well, Alicia, tell everybody where they can find you so they know where they can go to buy all the gear, to make sure they're following you on all the socials and everything.
Sure. Yeah, on Instagram, it's peripheral_apparel, or you can catch me online, www.peripheral-apparel.com is the website. I know it's kind of a mouthful, but yeah, it's and you can find my personal Instagram is Noori_Alicia. So yeah, come check me out on there. Happy to answer any questions if there's anything I left out or missed. But yeah, I appreciate you guys having me tonight.
Yeah, and if you guys can't spell, she spelled it out for you. And if you can't do that, follow her on Instagram, because then you can just hit the link right in the bio.
Yeah, do that, because I purposely had to train myself to spell it out.
Yeah. I
didn't do so well my first time.
I just question the intelligence sometimes of the people that listen to our podcast. So, I mean,
it's a tough word to say. So I just figured I'd do y'all a favor now and spell it.
With this Tennessee education, I would just have to click the link. There's no way I'm spelling it out. So
just hop on Instagram, click the link. It's right there.
Yeah,
right. Super easy. But hey, if you this is I did this before once already, and I'm gonna do it again. I'm just gonna say to everybody out there, if you listen to the podcast and you follow her on Instagram, post and repost, right, that you heard about it on the podcast, buy some apparel, post that on Instagram, right? All this shit is free. Yes, you're going to have to buy some apparel and you're going to have to pay for that, but to post and repost and to build somebody up, that shit's free. So make sure that you're getting out there and posting when it's delivered to your house, open it up, take a nice picture, put it on, make your wife take a picture of you wearing it, right? Put it on and put it on Instagram, and then tag Peripheral Apparel so that they see that that she has some value out of the time that she spent with us tonight.
That's right. Yeah.
Well,
thanks again for joining us. I'm sure I'll see you on the bikes here real soon.
Yeah.
We'll get a ride in soon before it gets too cold. And thanks everybody for tuning in. Another episode. We'll see you guys next week.
Peace.
Thanks, you guys. See ya.
Yeah, just hang on for a second here.
Yeah, no worries.